転生
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Power Hour. I'm your boy Takeoff. Me and the guys here got a very interesting episode for y'all today. It's all
What's
about
up?
gaming.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
all about gaming.
and my boy Talada, he's gonna start us off with the first one now, the PlayStation Showcase.
Yes, it's happening, boys. The PlayStation Showcase is happening next week. This time next week, we will know what was shown at the PlayStation Showcase. My guess is that we're going to get Spider-Man 2. Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be there. A big gameplay reveal. I think that's
Oh,
going to be
definitely.
the end.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna happen.
I've been wanting to get some like info into how the Spider-Man 2 game is. Now, besides the trailer, we all know, Venom, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. It looks great. I
Yeah.
want to know what's going to be different between this one and Spider-Man 1.
It's going to be a huge difference, a big difference. I know that for sure. Um, Plus, as well, in terms of third parties, I'm probably going to guess this now. I think MK Mortal Kombat will be there as well because they're going to market that the hell out of it. So them revealing it this week because the next MK game will be revealed tomorrow. If you're watching this as a VOD, then you know those two trailers been released. So
Yeah.
they'll probably just do like a big showcase of what MK12 will be or what MK1, whatever the next Mortal Kombat game will be called. And then they'll do like make a big deal out of it. And with Summer Game Fest happening as well pretty soon,
Now,
expect big things.
do you think
PlayStation.
on the PlayStation Showcase we'll get any kind of info on Xenoverse?
Not
Not
Xeno.
Xenoverse, but thing Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Yeah.
Yes, I think Tenkaichi 4 has a good opportunity to maybe show something, but not pushing my luck there because they still got Summer Game Fest,
That
right?
is true. And you gotta understand, this is the first Budokai game in 15 years. If you were gonna say Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was PlayStation exclusive, I could see that. But in
Yeah,
any other scenario, I would save it for Summer Game Fest. That you get a bigger audience that way, you get more hype. It's the safer bet.
Right.
But yeah, that's just me.
And you see, people, a lot of my coworkers at work was thinking that they're thinking Budokai Tenkaichi 4. It's going to be mainly PlayStation players, honestly. So,
Obviously, you wouldn't have the
obviously,
same feel to it.
they were like,
obviously,
why not make it a PlayStation exclusive? But I'm like, I can't see them not making it for Xbox or PC.
no,
I'm
There's
not
no
really
reason.
seeing.
it'll be on all platforms. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes down to tournaments and stuff like that, it'll be PlayStation only.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's something I've known with previous games like Dragon Ball Fighters and like even with the fighting game community, they normally use the PlayStation console to play games to use the
N-
fighting game.
And I'm a lot of now you see I watch a lot of like Apex tournaments. Now I know a lot of Apex players are mainly PlayStation, but it is a competition between PlayStation and PC.
To an
Right. Yeah.
extent.
Now because don't the tournaments for Apex they play PC, straight PC.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. But you gotta remember, fighting games aren't played on PC. This
No.
is console based.
Yep. And if it is on PC, they using a controller.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like Fighters was a big thing. It'll be at the place. It'll be on PlayStation. Mortal Kombat 11. They're doing the Road to CEO,
Hmm.
the big gaming convention. What's it called? Big fighting gaming convention that's happening. They're going to be using the PlayStation network to do that through that event. And I know Capcom as well does the same thing. They use the PlayStation and never use Xbox. So if I had to I wouldn't say put my money on it for Budokai Tenkaichi 4 to be at the showcase. I wouldn't say that guarantees them the place there because there's too many big games going to be there.
Yeah,
You've
and
got
I agree.
I really think that they should give us some sort of Budokai Tenkaichi 4 gameplay. Like we already seen the trailer, we already know what it looks like. I want to know how the gameplay is. It has
I
to play just like it used to. It has to.
like here's the thing. We don't know whether it's coming out this year or if it's coming out next. That's another thing too. You got to take that into account. If it's coming out this year, then you could potentially see it in gameplay. Right, that's the given.
Yeah.
Next year, then Gamescom is the next best thing. Don't expect it to be a PlayStation showcase and don't expect it to be a
And so, Jarrett, I have an interesting thing for you. What do you know about the DLC 16?
DLC 16 is basically, it's not exactly a direct adaptation of superhero, but I have seen some footage. It's pretty good for what it is. It's mostly parallel quest. Most of it is parallel quests.
Yeah,
You don't really get you don't get an original story out of it. But
yeah,
No,
you really don't.
it's not an original story. I've seen it myself. Um, it's basically the story is you go back in time, essentially, and you do the Gohan versus Cell saga.
make sure it's muted, man. We can't risk
Yeah,
copyright.
yeah. Make
Yeah,
sure the music is muted. Yeah.
it's just the cutscenes.
No, no, no. But mute it anyway.
Toei does not play.
Yeah.
Put the captions on for good measure.
It is. It has captions on it.
Okay.
So as I was saying, yeah. So this is basically Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Cell, but this time his adult version comes in, like the Great Saiyan Man version comes in to save him. Save himself, I should say.
Oh, it is so laggy.
He needed
I
better
just want
PC.
to know why Few is just yeah, he's just
He's whatever the
alternate
plot
time
needs.
just and then
He's
he just
whatever the
powers up Cell.
he's whatever the plot needs him to be.
Like
Because
look,
let's
and he
be
even
honest,
it, and you got look at that. You Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
Yeah,
I agree.
but this, oh goddamn ad, you need ad blocker.
Yeah, I don't pay for YouTube Premium in so long.
You're probably better off.
So, but yeah, when it comes down to this DLC for Xenoverse 2, um, like it's it's great, but they kind of
I feel like they
it's
could have did
kind of
better.
they could have done a little bit more better. Yeah,
I agree. I agree. That's a fair critique.
Like
I mean
now
they
I
did.
ain't
The,
gonna
I mean,
now I ain't
go on.
go ahead.
I I was gonna say
I
that with
mean
this.
the only good thing about the DLC.
No, go on.
Hold on, somebody's lagging.
Yeah, it's
I think Kid is lagging.
yeah, I think it's me. Yeah, I'm gonna turn
Okay,
off my
we'll
PlayStation. I
start with
wonder if that's
Taladia's.
doing it.
We'll start with Taladia's point, and then we'll circle back once your internet improves, kid.
All right, it should be
So
better now. I just turned off my PlayStation.
so as I was saying, when it comes down to this DLC, it's like they could have improved on it a little bit more. But for example, Android 16 was in was in this timeline, and yet in the storyline, he basically said, "I don't belong in this timeline." I'm like thinking, wait a minute, how is that possible?
Because a few, and he was kind of like blocked over for one of the parallel quests. It's kind of a wink at the audience. It's a meta
But
joke.
there is a parallel quest for Super Saiyan 4.
Super Saiyan 4 Goku?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Vegeta. Your thing is lagging, by the way, big
Uh,
time.
yeah, I haven't played none of the DLC, so I didn't even know that myself. Maybe I need to do this. Let me see. That's probably better.
Technical difficulties, folks. But while we're waiting on that, I feel like
All right, that's
DLC. Okay, DLC 16. It's decent. It ties into superhero. It breaks. It gives Piccolo some more spotlight. You could argue Piccolo could have done this solo. The only reason Gohan's here, one, fan service, and two, new Gohan merchandise. I'll say it. All Gohan Beast is Super Saiyan 2 Gohan on acid. That's really all it is. I'll say it.
I feel like it's a combination between Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and his mystic form, kind of.
Hmm.
Maybe a little God Key. Maybe. Just a little
Yeah,
bit on steroids.
I'll wait. I don't think we're. It's. I feel like this is going to be a future Trunk situation where it's just a form made to look cool, and we're not going to get an official explanation for it.
And then on top of, I feel like the only reason they did a Beast Gohan and gave him a little bit of spotlight is because Gohan ain't had a big moment since the Cell games.
Well, he did get his ultimate form. He just got cocky
Well, I
against.
mean, yeah, I mean, Mystic Gohan, I wouldn't really say that was like a big kind of like moment for Gohan. Super Saiyan 2 against Cell, that was like internet busting right there. That was all over everywhere.
Hmm.
It gave me like Jiren and Ultra Instinct vibes, But like I said, it was more of a Piccolo movie anyway because Piccolo was kind of left in the dust, didn't really, you know, get much, I guess, credit as any of the other Z fighters. So I mean, I can understand why they did DLC 16 the way they did.
The point of the story itself was to get Gohan off his basically to get Gohan to actually take time to train more, especially if he's going to provide and protect his wife and daughter instead of relying on Goku and Vegeta all the time. I
Or
get it. You don't like to fight. You were forced into the forefront due to bad odds and desperations. I get that. But as a husband and father, you still have a responsibility at the end of the day, which you
right,
have neglected on multiple occasions. One
and
of which Whis had to bail you out indirectly.
and then on top of, even though that he wants to be a professor and all that, he even Piccolo was saying that Goku and Vegeta is not going to be at Earth at all times because 9 times out of 10 they're going to be on Beerus's planet.
Hell, even
So,
GT Gohan had found a better work life balance.
but still, he
No,
just didn't.
but the way I see it is like this DLC was essentially to promote superhero.
Yeah,
It
pretty
was,
Yes,
much.
it pretty much was.
but I know there's going to be DLC 17 happening in the future. It won't be till after maybe a few months time.
I would say
Um,
close to December.
I would
Maybe
say,
the beginning of the new year.
I'll say
yeah,
about end of the year, New Year. Yeah.
I would say around about that time because the fact is, there's too many Dragon Ball Dragon Ball stuff happening this year. You've got what's it called, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC happening pretty soon, right?
Which I
Right.
believe is the 23rd Budokai, that
Yeah,
DLC.
yeah.
Yep.
The Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi um 23rd tournament, right? Which
Right.
Goku won, right? So you got that, and then in and then you got what's it called, Budokai Tenkaichi 4 happening.
And then even the mobile game Dragon Ball Z Dokkan and Dragon Ball Legends, well, Legends is coming out with their 5th anniversary.
So
Uh,
don't I wouldn't expect anything Xenoverse 2 for quite a while.
Yeah, Xenoverse 2 is definitely taking a back seat because you got the prominence of Budokai Tenkaichi 4. You got Legends reaching its fifth anniversary. Dokkan, I believe,
Dokkan is coming
reaching
up on
its.
their Saiyan Day, and we're coming up on our 8th anniversary or the worldwide celebration. It's one of those two.
Yeah, because Legend and Dokkan are about 3 years apart. But yeah, this was definitely going to be. Even though this DLC you didn't get too much content out of it. I believe this. I'm not saying this is the last DLC for the game. I'm not saying we're getting a Xenoverse 3. I'm not saying that. But before we get another expansion pack or DLC, it's going to be at least 6 months to a year, at
Or
least.
And if they do, I would recommend them coming out with a DLC somewhat worth and somewhat like I guess mind blowing before the release of Budokai Tenkaichi 4, or that DLC is really going to be obsolete because ain't nobody really going to play Xenoverse 2 when that game comes out.
But what could you really make a DLC of? You already, I mean,
We got what ifs basically a few in like every aspect. So
yeah, but we already had. That's what the parallel quest for. I get what you're saying. You want to bring back the what if gimmick that Raging Blast one, the early Tenkaichi games.
now here's one. Now now Ultimate Tenkaichi and I think it's Ultimate Tenkaichi. One
Yeah,
of those games actually got a Super Saiyan 3 Broly in it.
Raging Blast 2.
Okay, I knew it had to be one of those. But
Ultimate Tenkaichi was the first game to have create your own character or custom animated character.
I feel like why don't they do something like that? Like I like why don't they give us like some Super Saiyan 3 Broly or something like that?
Also, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, which was a wasted opportunity in Super's anime, by the way.
True.
I get that Super Saiyan 3 is a pain in the ass to animate. I understand that. But come on, you could have fixed it up in the DVD release.
Right. But do y'all okay, so what do y'all know about Call of Duty nowadays? Now, we all know that Warzone is really going neck to neck in the first person shooters. I mean, it tops Fortnite.
Okay, even if you did factor nostalgia bias, Call of Duty has fallen off to the point to where it's barely relevant anymore. I mean, let's be completely honest with ourselves.
And I'm Activision is putting all their work into Call of Duty, and they could have done so much. Where's Halo? Where is Halo?
Halo 3 and Halo no after no that the Halo TV show fiasco, and you're still saying that.
But I mean, we haven't. I haven't had a good game since Halo Infinite,
That's debatable.
and
Well,
I'm
I,
like, we just need something. I mean, I feel like we're getting too much Call of Duty. Like,
It's the only solid okay, Call of Duty is the Batman for Activision. It's their only solid IP.
yeah.
yeah,
Let,
and
let's call it for what it is.
and then you got and then Call of Duty is trying to match Fortnite. I guess by kind of dropping like I guess certain characters. Remember that time Call of Duty Warzone had dropped Snoop Dogg and all of them into the game, and then just kind of like how Fortnite just put out Juice World.
Well, Fortnite relies on first of all, completely different generation of gamers. Second of all, Fortnite completely relies on skins and even the most basic gaming and coding mechanics to where it's mostly there. God, in fact, I could go on a whole tangent about that, but to make it a long story short, Call of Duty was not made to be Fortnite. It was not made for Flash. It was a grounded, self-contained story that was military ops based, and it had a
Yes,
strong momentum in the early to mid 2000s.
the last good Call of Duty game. Now I played Cold War. I played World War II. I haven't played the remastered Modern Warfare or the Modern Warfare 2.
I played
None
the
of
original Modern Warfare. That one was pretty good.
No, the best one of all time that I would say that I really think that they should have redid into like I guess modern graphics and modern consoles was the original Modern Warfare 3. That was the
Yeah,
game.
that
That
deserves
was
a remaster. I will give you that.
that
Mm,
was the game.
no.
Advanced Warfare should not have came out. I hated that game.
Wait, what you got against Advanced Warfare?
It,
Hold on.
look,
Sorry.
jetpacks flying in the air, like robot
That's
gear.
the
I
best
didn't. I
part.
no. I liked the original Modern Warfare 3.
No, I have to disagree with you there. 110%. Because the original Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare 2, those are the two biggest go-to games.
That's a fair point.
War at War was good.
No, but if you think about it, last generation or the generation before, right?
PS3, I think.
PS3, Xbox 360 era, that was the go-to game,
I
right?
agree. That's a fair point.
That is
You
a fair
can't
point.
you can't think about like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, that didn't really
Oh
live up
God,
to
no.
it didn't really live up to the hype. Even Black Ops 3, like I played Black Ops 3, I was like, nah, not for me. and I gave up on Call of Duty
Yeah,
long ago, because
after
the fact that there's too many kids on it now that abuse the system and whatnot, and I'm just like,
they're
nah.
hacking cheat codes and all that stuff.
Well, by that logic, Mortal Kombat should be banned by that logic.
And
No.
now that's going to be our next one. Now I really hope that they do some more. I guess I want them to remaster the fatalities in this new Mortal Kombat 12.
The
Well, actually,
fatalities are just a gimmick at this point. I'll say it. When the three of us were coming up, the best part of Mortal Kombat, not only the arcade era, but also if you knew the actual code. Now you can just buy it with tokens. And even then, it's one time use. Take the time to practice tutorial, learn the sequence, and then you get the fatality and you get to show it off as you're schooling them. That was the point.
Yeah, and then I would say my best, I guess, fatality. What I ain't gonna lie, Scorpion and Rambo.
mhm.
I
Uh,
I, I just have to say it. But I'm gonna mute this, and this is just all the fatalities in Mortal Kombat 11.
we can only show a few of these. We can't risk copyright. We
Yeah,
can only show a few of
you can't
these.
risk demonetization or copyright strike, so you probably best just sliding it across. As I've learned over the years from doing YouTube, you can't risk it. But when it comes
Especially,
down to but
especially where policy. Oh, I'm sorry, Talade. Go ahead.
when it comes down to
It's
Mortal
lagging.
Kombat, if you show blood, you're
I guess it's lagging. So
so but when it comes down to Mortal Kombat, the creation and whatnot, this is going to be the biggest game going ahead now for WB games. You're probably wondering why I'm saying that. Is probably is basically because Suicide Squad Killer Justice League delayed to next year, and the fact that this is the only biggest, big IP that WB Games has got going after Hogwarts Legacy.
I agree.
no, I ain't gonna lie. I've been wanting to play Hogwarts Legacy, but you see, the thing is, if I want to play it on PlayStation, I have to get a PlayStation VR.
You don't need VR for it.
You can.
Not for Hogwarts Legacy. There's no VR in it.
I didn't know if it had that. I don't. I didn't know if it was
I thought I saw
playable.
somebody on TikTok playing it.
No, no, it's not VR. It's not a VR game. I don't know where you found that information from. It's completely false.
Okay, I guess somebody edited some TikTok video. Then it looked
Yeah.
it cool though,
It was a good edit. I'll give it that. But not. I have not heard anything
because
to
he
the.
was sitting there with the controllers doing the whatever he was, and I was. It looked kind of cool. I was like, "Yo,
No, but the fact is right. Hogwarts Legacy game is the best-selling game for WB Games right now.
Oh, hands down. Hands
yeah,
down.
hands down, yeah."
David Zaslav praised it a lot, right? And the fact is, Mortal Kombat being the next big game for Warner Brothers Games right now, you're probably going to get 12 to 18 months support. That's a given, right? I don't know if it's going to be 3 years support. I don't know. That's something I don't know because MK11 was a 2 year full support because they got 2 years of content. I don't know about this game. I mean, this game could have a year support. It could have 2 years support. Depends on what Warner Brothers wants to do going ahead after Mortal Kombat is released because the rumors are suggesting that the next Mortal Kombat game will be released September October time. So round about the same time as Marvel Spider-Man 2 is released.
So they're trying to release all these games around really
For
neck and neck.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
round about the same time as the fall. But you got to remember, for a fighting game genre, right? You've got Street Fighter coming out next month. Then the
Yes,
month, then you got Tekken as well. So for Mortal Kombat to come out the fall, it makes total sense. There's nothing clashing with anything, and competitive wise, the competitive scene will be very active for Mortal Kombat for sure. Because NRS is a big studio. They're probably one of the highest grossing studios out there. when it comes down to what's it called, fighting games. Um, Considering this game is going to be a reboot, like from what the teasers are telling, um, I think that this game will do well, but I think it won't have that 2 year support.
No, it won't. But I feel like Mortal Kombat would definitely make the money and get the credit that it deserves. It's
Once it,
blowing over the internet right now.
once it gets that support, it'll have like the Injustice vibes to it, right? Where Injustice 2 basically had Fire Pack 1 and Fire Pack 2, right? And that was it,
Right,
right?
right.
Might have a similar thing. It might be the biggest roster, but because of getting people guest characters, it's going to be a bit of a problem.
And then I can also like hopping back on that injustice topic.
Hmm.
Like, when are we going to get an Injustice 3? That
Look,
Twenty
with Kevin
2025.
Conroy's, I'm sorry, with Kevin Conroy's passing, that's very unlikely unless you recast for Bruce Greenwood to do the voiceover. And even then,
I have actually some news to tell you about this.
oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
breaking
Injust
news.
Injustice 3 is in, but you probably won't see it till 2025, 2026 at the latest.
Wow. And we've been waiting how long since Injustice 2 been out?
2017.
That exactly. I'm just like I've been
The
waiting for
reason,
a number 3.
but the reason why I say that is basically because Warner Brothers needs big games right now, right? And if MK is going to be a 2 year cycle, then don't expect the next game to be out for a couple of years.
They want the competition out of the way.
Yeah, they want to move that because if the MK 12 stroke MK reboot game is a 2 year cycle, sorry, 2 year life support, then the third year is the gap year, then the next year essentially is the third game for Injustice. But at the
And,
same sorry, go on.
uh, no, I was just wondering like if Warner Brothers would ever come out with any other games besides Injustice, because I think on one of my episodes we was talking about Superman games and stuff like that. I'm just like, it's kind of hard to determine what else could Warner Brothers do to compete with any other futuristic games that might make give them a run for their money.
DC has taken a back seat from gaming. They've mostly been letting Mortal Kombat and other projects carry Warner Brother or WBD afloat. DC has taken a back seat outside of mobile games, but I feel like if they are going to do an Injustice 3, that would be their best chance to get back on the top. To get back on the top.
That, or I could see, and I said this before, a remake modern version of Marvel versus DC. That'll be a game changer.
No, it won't happen.
Kids nowadays won't even know what that is.
But people look. Kids nowadays watch Marvel. Kids nowadays watch DC. I mean, it's not like it's not gonna, I
No,
guess, do
That
well.
game in of itself was a publicity stunt. That was
It
a
was
one and done.
it was still a good game though.
no, but it's not going to happen again. Don't expect Marvel and DC to have their very own fighting game, right? But
Especially with editorial.
especially considering what's happening in the media right now, right? But in terms of DC gaming as a whole, we do know that um, Suicide Squad Killer Justice League is coming out next year, and it's got a solid locked release date now. It's locked on the PlayStation Store. It's got the release date now, so they can't change it.
Oh yeah, it's a done deal. If it's on the PlayStation Store, it's a done deal.
No, no, no. I mean the release date is on the PlayStation Store right now.
Yeah. If it shows on the store, yeah, they can't change it. It's that's it. That's the exact exclusive date that it's gonna come out.
Yeah, second 2024 at midnight essentially for me.
So that
So
means it'll be about midday for us, maybe that morning.
yeah, so I'll
The
be
more
playing
you
that for
know.
sure.
I need
But I
that.
mean, But I do know for another thing too is for DC Gaming to go ahead, they need more IPs out. So WB Montreal, whatever they got coming up for their second game, that needs to be announced this year as an announcement. That's all they just need to do. Announce it this year, whether it's a DCU game or whether it's an Elseworld game, they need to get it announced because their their player base has reduced drastically compared to Batman Arkham right now. I looked at the Steam DB page for between Batman Arkham and Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights only has about 250, 300 players playing that
Hmm.
game, and Batman Arkham Knight has about 1,000 people playing, over 1,000 people,
Wow.
I'm
and that
surprised it's
says
that much.
Yeah, I am surprised that that's so. Yeah, that's
that says it all. That means the game is dying. That means the game is dying out.
it's literally on its last leg.
I'd
They
give
can't.
it 3 months, maybe four.
No,
I'll give it 2, maybe less than that.
I would say you don't even expect 2 months. I think the game is dead. That's what I think personally, because they shouldn't have put a DLC out. In my opinion, they should have just forget about the DLC because there's a fan base. You got the sales. Don't get me wrong. You got the sales there. The sales. Everyone was. You met sales expectations, but when you didn't meet critics' expectations and user reviews' expectations, your game's gonna die out. It's gonna
It's
fizzle out.
basically the, it's basically the video game equivalent of breaking even at the box office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. So the fact is, they just need to move on to the second project or work on other projects within WB in-house because you still got that Wonder Woman game. I do know a couple of devs that worked on Gotham Knights that have moved over to the Wonder Woman game, so I do know that that's the case with Warner Brothers. And the fact that WB Games want your second game, whatever that may be, I just with the recent talk with David Zaslav, his earnings call, and him talking about let's say we got a Superman movie coming out in 2 years, and people want to explore that world, and we'll make a video game for people to explore that world, right? It makes
Right.
me it makes me think that you know David Zaslav is hinting a potential Superman game for the future, and
It's
the
about
fact,
time.
yeah, it is about time, but I've been saying it for years. I've been talking about it for years. Like the fact is that Warner Brothers never really dived deep and said, look, I've seen like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is the perfect example on how to make a Superman game. That there's no questions asked, right? It's a perfect example on how to make a Superman game fun, right? And you could go down that route, or you could go down the route that what Factor 5 did, which was a brawler type game, and you get people interested in indulging that world, right? Am I right, Jay Heat?
You're right.
I
You're
can
right.
agree.
I mean, if they do another Batman IP, if they do a Titans IP, yeah, a Titans IP would be good, but it's not going to sell as well as Superman or
Is
Justice
it
League.
Yeah, none of those games would top a solid, good-looking Superman game. I mean, the only thing that may top that is if they did something like a Justice League kind of brawler type game.
That that you probably would expect from Rocksteady, not from WB Montreal. Like that is something I do know for a fact, considering the fact that Rocksteady was the one that got the Justice League into Suicide Squad, and given the fact that if they were given the opportunity to do a Justice League game, they would take it instantly.
definitely? But there's a lot of tension behind the scenes we just don't know about because anybody and their mama would tell you that make Batman playable. You don't have to do Damian Wayne. You do not have to do Damian Wayne. That would have done a lot, but you didn't have to make Damian Wayne playable if you didn't want to. But
Mhm.
at the very least, for Gotham Knights, make Batman playable. And it also didn't help the fact that you had the CW TV show that was crapped out to, fulfill the Batwoman's writers' contracts. That way you can resolve that, and that way it's fulfilled. You don't have to risk a buyout. So the synergy was bad. The application was bad. The game was buggy from day one. Not cyberpunk bad, but still pretty buggy. The whole thing was just a disaster.
What game was that, by the way?
I'm still talking about Gotham. Gotham Knights and Cyberpunk.
Oh, oh yeah, Gotham Knights is buggy, and the only best platform is I would say the best platform for that is actually PC, not console based.
I agree. PC.
Yeah,
PC has the better, if you're looking graphic wise, if you want the best frames, all of that, PC is the best way to go. But if you wanted to say you don't mind the 30 FPS and you just want to play with your friends, then PlayStation and Xbox is the way to go. But like I said, I bought the game on PlayStation and I was expecting that game to be cross-play and it's not. So I kind of, after I played this Heroic Assault, the first Heroic Assault, I'm like, nah, I'm not touching the second one. What's the point of me
Okay.
to go? What's the point of me going back into Gotham Knights, knowing for a fact the second DLC is the same as the
that's
first
the
one,
first one. Yeah.
And
and
speaking of and speaking of dead games, I heard a story on this. I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but Marvel's Avengers have officially shut down their servers, or at least
yes,
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 they did.
yes,
They
yes.
did.
okay.
Marvel's Avengers has, in fact, shut down the servers. But when it comes down to DC, though, like back to the DC stuff, though, like when it comes down to Gotham Knights, um, like their support probably won't last any longer because the fact is that there's nothing for them to really put out there. What are they going to do? Do more rehash DLC? What are they going to do? They're going to expect people to play the game? No. I have seen tons of YouTubers that I know personally haven't touched the game, have not gone back to that game, basically talked about the game, did videos on the
And you
game.
see, even me, I have Marvel's Avengers on my PlayStation. I haven't deleted it because I paid money for it on the PlayStation Store. But
Yeah,
since my birthday of last year, when I bought it, I played it for 2 days. Haven't touched it since.
I haven't touched it either, but like I said, when it comes back to it, I think the best thing next going for DC is Suicide Squad Killer Justice League. Then
Yes,
that will be the first DC game to come out in February. Then in the middle of the summer of next year, you could probably see the Wonder
yes.
Woman game, right?
And then maybe I guess the following year or the following months after that may get that Superman game.
No, I would say 2025. The reason why I say that is because of Superman Legacy. Because Superman Legacy is coming out in July 2025, and if you want to get as much momentum going ahead for that movie, you tie it up to a movie, right?
And
Like
what better way to bring Henry Cavill back?
Suicide Squad, they were banking Suicide Squad to come. Like Suicide Squad Killer Justice League basically was going to be tied up to the Suicide Squad movie, but because the movie came out, was it 2021, Jay?
I remember. I'm still here.
No, no, was it 2021? The Suicide Squad movie James
Well,
Gunn did.
it was either 2020 or 2021.
Well,
R-
2021, I think. Suicide
Yeah,
Squad 2, the soft reboot. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
2021.
Because they were hyping off that, they were leeching off that essentially, and they were supposed to come out last year. Because that didn't happen now, and it's been 4 years since this announcement. 4 years, or well, coming up to 4 years since it got announced. I'm just like, what was the point of them doing a Suicide Squad game? Instead, just don't do a Suicide Squad game. Do something else entirely. Like do a Justice League game. It doesn't even need to be, you don't need to worry about anything else, right? You still got the hype for Zack Snyder's Justice League, still, you know, that you have, right? Um, and furthermore, people would be more invested in a Justice League game than they would be for Suicide Squad game. Because the Suicide Squad game is a team-based looter shooter based game. So and they're taking out the live service elements anyway. So it's like the live service story wise, the online aspect will still be there in terms of playing with your friends, but doing the stories while you're online, they'll probably take that aspect out. It'll probably be like Marvel's Avengers, the way the way
Yeah,
they the way
Yeah.
they structured their game, right? That's why I think that's what with Suicide Squad that might be the case. Um, and when it comes down to the Wonder Woman game, like that Wonder Woman game is probably going to be the best thing for DC. The reason,
that's gonna put him on the map.
no, it's
Oh no,
already
Killer Justice League will, but that'll make them money. Like that'll
The
boost them
Wonder
even.
the
It'll
Wonder
gain
Woman
some traction, but there's no guarantee it'll make a profit.
no, the Wonder Woman game will make a profit.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
No, no, no. The Suicide Squad game, don't expect that game to. It'll probably make its money back, and that's basically if and only if Rocksteady ends up doing a bundle with Suicide Squad, right?
Right,
What do I mean by that is if Rocksteady decides at one point, oh well, we'll do the Batman Arkham Knight and give you guys a free upgrade to for one of our patch games, so you guys get to play it on PlayStation 5. That that would work in their favor, right? Because
Right,
people will have the game and they can play all their Arkham games on PS5 at 60 FPS, no issues, no frame rate issues or anything like that, right?
right.
And they'll probably throw a couple of skins in if they wanted to, just to hype
I feel
everyone up,
like they will.
right? But if that's not the case, and if it's just strictly Suicide Squad only, then yeah, it probably won't make it. It might make its money back, but it won't make as much money as the previous Arkham games, right?
Right.
But in terms of Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman game will sell well because the fact it's made by Monolith Productions, who did the Shadow of War, the Shadow of Mordor games, and the fact that the narrative is going to be great.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like both of those games are gonna be like very big for DC. I feel like the DC fans will actually like be very grateful that they finally did something. Since the the decline in DC, I would
But
suppose.
if you guys want to know this as well, Summer Game Fest is right around the corner. If you guys want like more content for whether it's Wonder Woman, I would say Summer Game Fest was the best opportunity there, right?
Yeah.
right,
Wonder Woman would be your best bet for for that to be at the event for Summer Game Fest. If it's not a Summer Game Fest, it'll be at Gamescom. That's a given, right? Uh,
right.
and with the WB Montreal, now I don't know what will WB Montreal do for their second game. Like that's something I don't know. I mean, Summer Game Fest, VGAs, you know, or it's, San Diego Comic Con. Those are the options that they have right now, right?
Right.
If they
Right.
announce it next year, you basically and if it's a Titan game and you announce it next year, you are
You-
literally gonna lose half of your community because of the fact that it's a Titans game and not a Superman game.
Right. You're gonna literally lose like more people than what DC's community has already lost since Henry
Yeah,
Cavill's situation.
no, it's not only the Henry Cavill situation. That's not the only issue. The issue is people people will look at this and say, look, well, you had a great opportunity to make a Superman game, you know, at the same time as the Superman movie being released, and you never did it. Instead, you give us a team-based Titans game similar to Gotham Knights, and people will just say, "Nah, I'm not." Like critics will bash the game, just like they did with
Marvel's
uh
Avengers.
no 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 just like they did with Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was bashed
Oh yeah, and
so badly that it only made fours or fives out of tens.
now see, and I had that was another thing. Now I know a lot of people that was actually very excited for Gotham Knights. Like they were like,
Yeah,
oh, Gotham Knights, oh this and that. And then when the game came out, then they want to like come come at me like, bro, I was so disappointed, and I'm like, yeah,
the fact still remains because of what, like, 'cause I gave Gotham Knights a chance. Like, don't get me wrong, I was excited for it, but I gave it a chance at least to play for myself. Reviewed it. Like, I didn't get a review copy or anything. Don't worry, I paid for it myself. But when I reviewed the game, I finished the story and everything. I said the story was great, but it was lackluster. Not many villains, right? And now the fact that they're doing DLC and they're reusing the same villains, by the way, not the same, not different villains. It
that's
makes
what
me
they
think
messed up at.
That's
I
what they messed
agree.
up on. That's what they
Because
messed up on.
see, at least when it comes to like, I guess, uh, I'll just those universe two out there. At least their DLCs is a different villain. That's how you
Yeah,
keep that crowd.
keep it going.
And then because it's new, I mean, who wants to keep going back to fight the same person? Like it's just gonna get tiring.
Yeah, that's
Not,
why that's why I never touched it. That's why I never went back to Gotham Knights. It's basically because I don't want to face the same villains again. I do not want to touch Gotham Knights facing Harley Quinn, even though it gets me up a level and whatnot. That I don't mind, but I don't want to face them again because the fact is I've already beaten them twice. I don't want to face them a third time.
I
You get
feel
what?
like now this was during a time where DC was just trying to chase headlines, prop up Tim Drake and the big change they made. I'm not going to
Yeah,
go into too much detail because I'm not going to risk pissing off the algorithm, but I feel like they were mostly highlighting that, and the actual game mechanics and the actual storyline was just redundant. Because the moment you put Damien in the game, boom, he's redundant. The Tim's redundant, and I just feel like this game was crapped out because the powers that be forced him to.
no, but the fact is Warner Brothers didn't look at the bigger picture here. What they should have done, waited on Gotham Knights. Don't put out Gotham Knights yet. Bring
I
out the
would delete
Superman
it.
game.
They
I
should
would.
have did kill the Justice League first, and then maybe Gotham Knights after that. At least you would
No,
have had the
no, no.
no.
No, what they should have done is what Warner Brothers should have done is swap them around. So Gotham, the WB Montreal do Suicide Squad, tie that into the Arkhamverse. It can be set after the events of Batman Arkham Origins, uh, and WB Montreal, or not W, Rocksteady doing the Gotham Knights game, and that can be straight up Arkham Combat, and that way people can just enjoy it, and there would be no problem saying, oh, well, what happens between what happens after Batman Arkham Knight? What's happened to Robin? What's happened to Batgirl? What's happened?
So make
Those
it an interquel, basically.
kind of, but like think about it like this, right? You want to know the story of Tim Drake and Barbara, right? You want to know what happens after the events of it, right?
Right,
You want to see Cassandra Cain introduced, right?
right,
You want to see you want to be able to see Stephanie Brown or Red Hood, kind of get their very like get the spotlight in the Arkhamverse, right?
right,
Big time. Not just like a 10 or 15-minute gameplay that we got in Arkham Knight, right? Because that DLC was 10 to 15 minutes for Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin DLC, right?
right.
So if they did that as a proper full-fledged game, imagine the sales that you would get for um, a Rocksteady Gotham Knights game over a over a Suicide Squad game. People will eat that up easily, right? But
That's
but
true.
because but the fact remains that Warner Brothers saw Rocksteady as a multiplayer studio, not a single player studio, and they saw WB Montreal as a single player stroke co-op based studio because they brought in Ubisoft devs. Some of you guys are forgetting this. Like Ubisoft devs basically came into Warner Brothers Games Montreal and they basically ruined they basically I wouldn't say they ruined the experience, but they're more along the lines they didn't understand the fans, what the fans want.
I agree to that assessment because Ubisoft doesn't really pay attention to like that. They just Ubisoft was one of the studios that mainly relied on DLC and expansion packs. They didn't really care about the main game that much.
No, it didn't.
No.
That's why it's been so lazy for content for Gotham Knights. Just it just shows. Like
Like a lot of people are just dropping off that game. I can't see them even coming out with anything for Gotham Knights.
I mean, if they did more content, good, great, fine, but don't expect your fan base to come back to the game. No,
No
they
one's
won't.
going to come back to that game.
Nope.
No, half the fan base will move on to another project because they'll be more interested in like what Marvel is doing, right?
And
Because Marvel's got Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming out, you've got more combat coming out, you've got so many different things coming out. DC DC has to basically say, okay, what can we do to basically get our fan base, back on our side? Announce your second game. If you announce your second game, either Summer Game Fest, VGAs, or San Diego Comic Con, you will win your fans over. And if it's especially considering it's a big IP like Superman, not a Batman game because Batman games are done overused now. There's no point of doing another Batman game. But if you do a Superman game, there's so many stories you could tell. So many stories. There's so many villains you can bring into it. Mongo, Livewire, Bizarro, Doomsday, Brainiac, um, Solomon Grundy, Gorilla Grodd. You could bring those characters into the fold, and you could get people interested into that. But what Marvel are doing is they're selling off their IPs, by the way. Like they're giving the IPs out, lending it out to different studios. So we're getting the Captain America Black Panther game. We got an EA Iron Man game happening. We know there's a um we know that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is happening. Marvel's Wolverine as well. Those two IPs are happening as well. So you see what I mean? Like Marvel are giving out the IPs to different studios. Like Insomniac has got some, EA has got some, Skydance has got some as well. So Marvel knowing knows what to do when it comes down to their IPs, whereas DC just seem to think that, well, we just keep it in the house, but we're not going to use the big guns.
That's I can't argue with that logic. This was a complete mismatch. I do I just don't know how studio how you could get a screw up like this. I'm not saying this purely from a consumer standpoint. I'm just saying like this was a complete mismatch because a quality of product can be more than one thing, more than one gimmick.
Yeah,
And this was just a complete mismatch of assets and it bit them in the ass. That's the only way to describe it.
yeah, it definitely bit them in the ass. That's why like Marvel games are thriving,
They
you know,
are.
They
and
are.
there are going to be Game of the Year contenders. Where's the DC game of the, what's happening to DC? Why DC haven't got Game of the Year contenders in such a long time? You know why that is? You
No,
you
I
you really want to
Why?
know the reason? Because the
Why?
fact is they cash cowed on Batman so much, and they expect him to be the saving grace of everything.
Which in Gotham Knights case definitely would have worked. Sure, the market's still inflated, but if you make Batman playable, Gotham Knights sales would have soared up like that.
No,
right.
no, 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 you're not understanding. If it was a Batman Arkham game, expect that game to basically sell like hotcakes, and it would be Game of the Year. People would be giving it nines and tens. But because the fact that, but because the fact it isn't, that's why Marvel is striving because they have the formula knocked down to a T. Like Marvel Spider-Man 2 is essentially going to be done so well that DC has to come back hitting with hitting back. Otherwise, Marvel has won this gaming war basically. That's the best way to put it.
Right. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Uh, I feel like the upcoming Marvel games. I really feel like is like a big step for Marvel because
Yeah,
I am not gonna lie. Marvel kind of dropped off after Ant Man and Wasp Quantumania. They
I'd
changed
argue
like no, the so much different than it. They changed so much than the comics.
you can deviate from source material to an extent as long as you have an engaging story to compensate for the changes. Don't be a stickler to where you have to rely solely off the source material because that gets boring, especially for someone who's already read it. But Quantum Mania, originally, that was a Disney Cruise exclusive film. That was self contained on its own, but Phase 4 was performing so badly, they brought it in for a theatrical release, to prop up the numbers a bit because Ant Man is approved as an IP. And they wanted to set up Kang some more for Secret Wars. But with recent
And then now
go ahead,
we
Hunter.
don't
Go
know
ahead,
if Secret Wars is even happening because they even a lot of the Marvel fans are saying that Quantumanium was like such a hiccup for them. Like it really messed up the leading to Secret War, and that Marvel now confirmed Andrew Garfield's getting Amazing Spider-Man 3. They Sam Raimi is, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but it's hinting that Toby might get his fourth. And then Tom Holland is getting three more. It seems like they're putting all their time into Spider-Man. And it's just like, and then Deadpool 3 is like the only good movie coming out, because you got Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, and then on top of that, Guardians of the Galaxy is doing so well. That's the only thing they're riding off of. Like it was that Quantumanium was that was a
No,
mm.
but the fact is, right, when it comes down to Marvel games right now, and I'll still say that to this day, right, Marvel IPs are going to be given out left, right, and center,
Oh, that's a
right?
fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, right? And with this year seeming to be the year of Marvel Spider-Man, you know, it's going to be a Game of the Year contender.
It is.
But
I
like I said, give it about 2 years, Marvel Wolverine will be up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wolverine is definitely gonna be a runner-up.
The reason why I say it's going to be 2 years is basically because they announced it 2 years ago. So yeah. Oh, I noticed it. Thing. But but when it comes down to, when I see Marvel games, when I look at them, I see them doing IPs really well and giving them to the right studios. And like I'm gonna say this, a Punisher game, you probably won't get that. You probably won't
Now,
compared to a Daredevil.
now I could see them like when Deadpool 3 releases. Now I remember back on the PlayStation 2, 360, and all that stuff. Like we had Deadpool games. Now I feel like a a solid Deadpool game to follow up Deadpool 3, that'll be good. That'll be a hit. But speaking of another game, now we actually got confirmation of GTA 6. Now, have y'all even played the first five at
Yeah, I'd
all?
play five. By the way, read the private chat.
What about you, Jared?
In the private chat. Two. Oh, sorry, Najee. This is a closed panel,
It
but
is.
it's a closed panel tonight. But as for what you were saying, kid, I would say Marvel definitely has a lot of momentum right now in gaming. The MCU's on a lag. GTA has gotten a lot of controversy in recent years, arguably more than the first series of games had. And with what they did with Devil May Cry and what's that other game, Saint? It was
Saints
called.
Row.
Saints Row.
Thank you. I just feel like it's going to be a complete deconstruction piece, and people are not going to receive it well. So I don't think GTA 6 is worth it.
Now they active development for the entry in the Grand Theft Auto series has been confirmed that Rockstar is working on the new Grand Theft Auto. This is we haven't got no confirmed date, but we do know that it's going to be Miami themed.
They're taking a
Vi-
gamble.
no,
Let's see what's
they're
on.
doing Vice City again. That's what they're doing.
Oh, it was a Vice City.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a remaster?
Is it?
No, no, it's taking place in Vice City.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now that I can now that'll be a hit. Now that was a good game on the PS2.
Yeah.
Too much time
But
has passed, man. Because I was about to say.
no,
And then
but
are we gonna have any of the characters like Michael and
no,
them?
no. New characters.
Wow, new story. They're really taking a gamble. I ain't gonna lie. We all kind of like Michael and them and Franklin. Them boys were crazy.
No, but in GTA 6, according to the leaks, which was basically made public, a female protagonist was going to be the main focus. You're going to play as a female character.
Okay.
Wow, that's a first.
Yeah, that's the first time a you'll be able to play as a female character.
I mean, I have nothing against it as long
I
as they
mean,
don't.
me either.
No, no, but
Is
I
it,
think it's interesting as a story wise for them to go down this route, um, compared to what they normally would do. But according to like what I saw today, it's like it's gonna come out next year.
Oh, I was gonna wonder when the confirmed date was, because I haven't found any confirmation date. I just
I
keep
I saw.
hearing.
It's a hold on. Let me see what Naji's saying. Is everyone is everyone been has everyone been playing retro games? No,
No,
I haven't been playing any retro games, Naji, I'm afraid. I've been too busy content creating.
I have been doing a playthrough of Batman the Telltale series. I know that game's almost like a decade old.
No,
yeah.
And
it's not even a decade old. Where do you get that from, Jay? It's not a
You
decade old.
you could tell by my background. That's my. I had to start over on a new account, so but I ain't gonna lie, I got my KD up there. So other than that, I've been playing that, a little bit of Xenoverse 2. I had just grinding.
Yeah. But yeah, so in terms of GTA 6, expect that sometime next year, then the year after. So the next couple of years is going to be interesting to say the least. I think we're going to be getting a PlayStation 5 Pro announcement soon. And
I'm definitely getting it. Hopefully,
yeah, I expect that to be on the cheaper side of things too, because considering like I've got my PlayStation 5. I paid 500 um I paid mine for about 500 and something pounds. So but yeah, this was an interesting power hour I should say. Uh talking about video games. Is there anything else we wanted to add, or is that it?
uh, we had a new release before I show one of my clips. Now, Windows got a new handheld.
Yes.
That that new Rogue Alley. See
Yeah,
if
I
I
heard.
can.
Are you talking about the handheld like Steam Deck type of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're on about. Yeah.
yeah, this little doohickey right here.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Windows 11. It's saying that it's basically like you can do anything on it, kind of, sort of. Now, guess what this thing is going for right now? You're gonna pay,
2000
nope, 700.
$700.
Yeah, 700, and you can hook it up to your, like. I just
PC.
saw this today. Look at that.
didn't Google try something similar with the Visa or some type of company owned handheld?
Well, we know the
Yep.
Steam have their very own Steam Deck, so everyone is trying to do the handheld stuff now because they know that PC gaming is the biggest thing going. Um, when it comes down to gaming on PC, and they want to use it handheld. So
Everybody's going handheld.
yeah, everyone's going handheld besides the consoles. Um, but yeah, I did see about this, and I'm not gonna pick it up though. Too expensive.
That's a
No,
fair
I mean I
point.
might. I mean it depends. I mean for $700, it's not. It don't look that bad. I mean,
It doesn't look bad, but the pricing is too high.
I agree.
Way too
and
high.
and so before we,
Before we end, do you mind if I plug myself and whatnot?
yeah, that works.
Um, so guys, on my channel, guys, I am, obviously I'm two away uh from 325. I posted my link in the private chat so you can post it in your chat.
Okay.
Um, I'm two away from 325, and I'll be doing a live stream with Jay and Jared from Comics League next week for Superman and Lois live reactions. And I'll be doing the PlayStation Showcase on my Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/Taladia Plays.
All right, and I will definitely post that
Uh,
on mine.
yeah, let me get the link for my Twitch page for you. 1 second.
Let me see if I can't.
Let me get it for you. That's- uh, give me a minute. I'm just getting it right now. Oh, there it is. Sorry about this, guys.
Oh, it is fine. I'm uploading my little bitty YouTube clip. This little snipe video.
All right, there's my Twitch page. You can post it in the chat.
Okie dokie.
So I will be live for this week. For um PlayStation Showcase, and I'll be doing the doing that live reactions. Hopefully next week. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, and I'm gonna put it in the chat right here. And let everybody see it. And guys, before we call it, I have one little exclusive clip. Yes.
Cracked an enemy shield.
The sniping gave his whole point. But y'all, hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to follow my bro J Heat. I'm
Appreciate it, man. I'm 3 away from 160. Hopefully, we can reach that milestone. And I feel like we should end things on a high note.
And what do you have in mind?
Wonder.
Wonderbat, 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 Wonder. Wonderbat, 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 Wonder. Hold on, I might have the clip. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on.
Oh Lord.
Just right quick, man. Just right quick.
Oh, Wonderbat. You're not gonna let Jarrett get a break from that, are you?
No, he made me read the comic that shall not be named.
Well, that was for April Fools.
I don't care. I do not care.
He said no F's are given. All right, let's see.
Wonderbat, 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 Wonderbat.
All right, I'm good.
All right, y'all. You follow, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more Apex clips. I have to edit, but I will be dropping soon. And follow Taladia and J Heat Blaze. And I will see y'all next on Power Hour.